If I was starting a new Etsy shop over from scratch, this is exactly what I would do. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, hey, hi, hello, my name is Lauren. In today's video, I'm sharing with you guys just exactly what I would do if I was starting over from the beginning with an Etsy shop, which, by the way, I did just recently do. I decided to open up a digital planner shop. I'm obsessed with it. It's really fun. It's called Digital Planning Gal. I'll link it down below for you guys, as well as my Instagram. But over there, I've been creating really fun digital planner and digital planner accessories for you guys. So if you're into that sort of thing, you should definitely go and check it out. But without further ado, let's go ahead and jump on into it and start talking about those things that if I was starting over from scratch, like point zero, these are the things that I would do in order to get me to a successful point. Number one, I would make a plan. So I would start organizing my thoughts in one specific location. The problem that I had when I was first starting out was I would write ideas down in this notebook, in that notebook, and on a spreadsheet, and on a Word doc, and on my phone's notes, and not have everything in one place so that I could visit it all back again and have it just all organized in one spot. I wish I would have set for myself goals with actionable steps. So this is actually something that I learned to do not too long ago, if we're being honest, probably around this time last year, when I sat myself down and I said, where do I want to be this time next year? I need to set those goals, and then I need to start thinking about what steps are going to get me there and what habits I need to be doing daily that are going to help me reach that goal of mine. So for me last year, I was sitting in our old townhome and I was absolutely wanting to do this full time that I get to do now. I wanted to create YouTube videos and I wanted to be able to use my Etsy shop to create my full-time income. Well, a year later, I have done it. It took me about 6 months to get to where I really wanted to be when I buckled down and decided on everything. So if you want to go and check out the video on the day that I told you guys I quit my job, I'm going to link it up here for you because that video has a ton of fun stuff in it, and you can just really see my pure emotion when I finally figure out that I reached the point where I needed to be in order to quit my full-time job and focus on Etsy and YouTube full-time. But I wish I would have set those goals earlier, because it has been a goal of mine to do Etsy or YouTube full-time for years. I knew this back in college, back when I first started my blog, like my sophomore year in college. This was in 2014, so that was 6 or 7 years ago. That's when I first started my first Etsy shop, as well as when I first started YouTube and blogging. And I wish I would have set goals back then so that I could have reached them a lot faster. I feel like I just didn't know where I wanted to go and what I wanted the end goal to be. So setting a plan and coming up with your goals and those strategic habits and things that you can do daily that are going to move the needle for you. I just want to give you guys a quick example of what I mean here. But let's say that your goal is to quit your full-time job. Well, first you need to figure out how much money do you need to be making monthly from your Etsy shop in order for that to happen. Then you need to break it down into how many sales would you have to have a day. And then you need to start thinking about your strategies that are going to get you there. So are you going to be posting on social media? Are you going to be listing new listings daily? Are you going to be working on I don't know what it is, creating content around it? What are the things that you're going to do in order to get that to happen? The second thing I would do if I was just starting out again is actually think about your budget and set a budget and be smart with your money when it comes to your business. For so long, one of the main things I struggle with was overspending and not budgeting my money properly and not setting aside money right for taxes and not getting the whole actual business aspect taken care of. So I guess when I'm talking about budget, I'm also meaning more of the legal stuff as well. So legals and finances. Get these in order from the start because it will save you so much headache in the long run. You can do research on your state and what it requires to legally list your name as a business, as well as how you're going to be paying your sales taxes and then your income tax. These things are really important, and honestly, it helped me to get help. So I actually hired people to help me with this because I suck at it, and I'm okay admitting that because you're not going to be great at every part of your business. I actually use my father-in-law. He helps me a lot with my finances of my business and making sure that I'm paying all of my taxes and sales taxes and all those great things. So getting that in order is something that I wish I would have done early on. I cannot give you legal advice on what to do for your business, so that is going to be up to you on researching what your state requires in order for your business to be legal, as well as what they require for you to pay quarterly or yearly for you. But setting a budget is also a simple way to start. So thinking about the cost of your items, thinking about investing in, improving your item quality or increasing your quantity of items in your shop. Those are all things you need to take into consideration. I probably will do an entire video on this at some point, but for now, that is what I would focus on. The third thing I wish I would have focused on so much earlier in the game was driving outside traffic through a content strategy plan. This is something I feel like I'm really doing well at right now, and something that I am truly passionate about. It's something though that I avoided doing for the longest time, especially with my t-shirt business for some random reason. But for the longest time, I avoided social media because I was running a print-on-demand shop. And so I didn't know what I wanted to share, how to make it look realistic, how to make it not look like a print-on-demand store. And I eventually kind of found my groove this past summer with it and started posting on TikTok and Instagram and got into mock-ups. And I feel like that made the world of a difference for my business. I was increasing my sales. I was getting more traffic. I was increasing my brand. Like, my brand was really becoming more well-developed. So all of those things really helped me out and helped my business to grow. Before, I was just relying on Etsy to drive me traffic, and that was not going to fly for the long run. I ended up figuring out how to use Pinterest to drive traffic. I have an entire video on that. I'll link it up here for you guys and down below to go and check out after this one. Pinterest was a big game changer for me in my business. I literally went from making like hardly any sales and hardly getting any traffic to daily sales in a very short period of time from Pinterest. So using social media is something I wish I would have done a lot earlier on in the game. It's something that just overwhelmed me in the beginning, and I think a lot of people get overwhelmed with. But if you are making a plan and strategizing your content and batching your work to be posted on there, then social media is a big win for small businesses. Fourth thing I wish I would have done more is been okay with investing my money to help me save time. So when it comes to my businesses, I tend to not want to spend my money on certain things that I know would help me grow. And that's just a mindset where I'm like, it comes from a lack of money or thinking that I have a lack of money, but I should have been coming from a place of this is going to help me further on down the road. Nowadays, I invest in so many different things in my business, and I'm not afraid to do it at all. I literally signed up for like 3 different courses in the past week to help me with different aspects of my business that I wasn't doing so well in. And I wish I would have done that earlier. I wish I would have done it early on in my business. I wish I would have set aside money monthly in order to reinvest in tools and resources that were going to push me forward. This is a big piece of advice. I think a lot of people get afraid to spend money on things like courses and resources that are going to help them for fear that they won't. But the majority of the time, these people that are creating them are already people who have gone through the hard steps. They have gone through the research and the years of trying to figure it out, and they've just put it into one neat little package for you so that you don't have to spend all that time wasting your time and your energy. So it definitely is something I wish I would have done earlier, because I feel like there are so many parts of my business in my Etsy shops that I could have done so much more work with or done better if I had invested early on. Real quick, I wanted to let you guys know that I actually have a new course that I just launched over on my website, and it is an Etsy Beginner's Master Course. I am taking you guys through the steps of building a solid foundation for your Etsy business that will help you to have a successful shop in the long run. We go through a lot of things like social media and branding, as well as goal setting and working on creating those strategic plans that are going to help you become successful. It's a 5-module course. I have an entire video on it where I talk about who this is best for and what is included in it. I'll link it up here for you guys, and it'll be down below at the beginning or at the top of my description box if you want to go and check it out. The 5th and final thing I wish I would have done when I was first starting my shop was to invest my time wisely and manage my time a lot better. I felt like I ended up spending a lot of time on things that were wasteful or weren't really moving my business forward. In the beginning, I wish I would have spent more time focused on increasing the number of listings in my shop, getting up new designs as often as possible, and working on driving traffic from those heavy hitting social media platforms like Pinterest and TikTok. Those are two that I literally swear by for small businesses and Etsy shops, and ones that I wish I would have used. I think that they just save you so much time in the long run trying to drive traffic for yourself. And I wasted so much time on trying to create things like blog posts or social media posts that really weren't driving traffic or doing anything beneficial. In the beginning, I guess I feel like I wasted too much time trying to build out my brand and build out my story, and less of actually focusing on getting sales. Because I think a lot of times when you're starting a business, a lot of people focus on the fact that they think they need to have the perfect brand. They think that they need to be showing up on every social media platform from day one. And this is where I got caught up too. I felt like I needed to be everywhere at one time, and it just wasn't possible. I wish I would have just saved my time and narrowed down my focus where I was working and what things I was like honing in on. So I wish I would have just picked 1 to 2 social media platforms and stuck with those. And I wish I would have been creating daily listings that were going to grow my shop and working on improving my SEO, rather than wasting my time with things like trying to build out a second Etsy shop, or wasting it on social media posts that had nothing to do with it or weren't driving traffic, or using social platforms that weren't really helping me at all. Wasting my time was just a big one that I wish I would have been able to avoid. Not only that, but I think part of that also was just managing my time a lot better. So back when I was first starting my Etsy shops, I was balancing college and I was balancing a job. And in this past year, when I really hit hard, like I was balancing my full-time job with this, multiple Etsy businesses and my YouTube channel. I wish I would have just managed my time better by batch creating my content. So sitting down and making things in big batches. So if I was working on t-shirt designs, I would sit down and I would make like 20 different t-shirt designs in one sitting. And then the next day I would sit down and I would make all of the photos for them for the listing. The next day I would upload them all to Etsy in one sitting, and just batch my work like that, instead of doing like, trying to do every little step of the way in one time. I just feel like that really cuts up your productivity and doesn't allow you to work the most efficiently. Alrighty guys, that brings us to the end of today's video. Question of the day for you guys. I want to know, what mistake do you wish you would have fixed or not done, or you wish you would have learned from earlier in your Etsy shop or your small business? Leave them down below in the comments. I cannot wait to hear from you guys. Right here on the screen, I'm going to put for you guys the Pinterest video that I mentioned before earlier, so that you can go and check this out, because this is one of my favorite strategies for driving traffic. I'm also going to put my entire Etsy playlist, because I have a ton more videos that you guys can binge watch all on Etsy if you want to hear more. I'm also going to put my subscribe button so you guys can stick around on my channel for more videos. I post every Wednesday. And lastly, I'm going to leave for you guys my Etsy Pinterest group board resource here for you to go and check out if you are interested. And without further ado, guys, that brings us to the end of the video. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you all in my next one. Bye, guys.